Hello, Internet. Welcome back to Cinema Brawls. My name is Matt, that's Daniel, that's Jake, and we are here to tell you a few things. First, that the only acceptable answer to do you want pie besides yes is yes, please. And second, we're here to tell you what the worst Christmas movie of all time is. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that new Christmas logo.
Right. So why don't we go ahead and reveal to each other what our worst Christmas movie choice was. Frankly, I think the worst is Matt, but that's just in overall categories. If we're just talking about Christmas movies.
Wow.
Right. If we're just talking about Christmas movies, I think the worst Christmas movie is Jack Frost.
Wait, the Michael Keaton one?
The Michael
or the
Keaton one.
Killer Snowman one?
No, the Michael Keaton one. Jack Frost was a 1998 movie directed by Troy Miller and stars Michael Keaton. It is about a father who dies around Christmas time and is reincarnated as a snowman. And isn't that just heartwarming?
If you all remember when we did the worst horror movies, Jake picked a movie that is generally liked by a lot of people that he specifically hated. I am going a similar route, and the worst Christmas movie, in my opinion, is Miracle on 34th Street. Miracle on 34th Street came out in 1947.
Dang.
It was directed by someone named George Seaton and stars Edmund Gwenn, Maureen O'Hara, and John Payne, and is about a mall Santa who claims to be the real Santa Claus and has to go to court for that.
Cool.
Daniel?
Yes, legal proceedings. So I picked an obscure one that I actually really liked as a kid, but have since grown out of. I have picked Barbie in the Nutcracker. It is a 2001 movie directed by Owen Hurley and stars Kelly Sheridan, Kirby Monroe, and Tim Curry.
You're drop dead serious right now, right?
Absolutely.
Tim Curry was in a Barbie movie?
Yes, and see, originally I was thinking, like, one of the rules for this was no Hallmark movies, because that's a whole nother category.
They're very obviously bad.
And I was thinking, okay, should I do the Barbie one? And then I saw that Tim Curry was in it, which legitimizes the movie because he is a beautiful human being and can do no wrong. And so that's why I picked this movie.
Okay. Well, those are our three picks. We're going to play this just like we did the Halloween videos. We're going to try and convince the other two which one to vote for.
Sure.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Are you going to be able to? On your mark, get set, brawl.
Let's hear your reasoning, Christmas hater.
So the story for Miracle on 34th Street goes as follows. There is a Santa lookalike that's supposed to be in the Macy's Day Parade, who, come to find out, is intoxicated. So this one guy, who is named Kris Kringle, steps in for him and does so well, apparently, that he gets hired on to be the mall Santa at the Macy's department store on 34th Street. He does a very good job. A lot of people like him, but he also tells people to occasionally shop at competitor stores so that they can find what they want. Well, Macy's doesn't like that, and they end up firing him. Because of the impact that he made, a lot of people want him to come back, but in order to do that, he has to take an evaluation where he admits that where he claims he's the real Santa Claus. The evaluator deems him unstable, and they have to go to court for this. There is an entire court hearing on the mental stability of this man because he claims he's Santa Claus. And that is about 3/4 of the movie, is this court case. I may be exaggerating a little bit on the time, but it felt like a majority.
Was he Santa Claus?
Yes.
As proven by the U.S. Postal Service.
And science.
No, just the Postal Service. Because
how the Postal Service going to prove worthy Santa Claus.
Have you not seen it?
No.
There's a little girl.
Man.
There's a little girl that's like really pushing for him to be the real Santa because she wished for this thing and wants it to come true.
Okay.
She writes him a letter. The postman sees that he's currently lodged at the courthouse, and decides just for fun to bring in a couple of 2 Santa Claus letters that they keep in dead mail.
Right.
And just because they legitimately delivered him these letters, the lawyer spins it to where the U.S. government officially recognizes him as Santa Claus, and therefore he gets out scot-free. And
That's insane.
it is insane. First of all,
Ridiculous.
I just don't find court stories that interesting in the first place.
Sure.
The
Prime
fact
Fear is good.
The fact that they had to go to court, government tax dollars were spent trying to listen to this guy prove he was Santa Claus, when really there's nothing else he can do besides be like, yep, I am.
The tax money is the real injustice of this movie.
It just seems like a boring
Wasn't there
premise.
like a driver's license or a social security card they could have checked or something?
If you
40s? Did they have driver's licenses in the 40s?
I don't know.
They could have fingerprinted him, man. I don't know.
I feel like if you really wanted to prove he was Santa, he could just bring in Rudolph. And it'd be done.
Or do some magic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, all right.
But Santa only has power if people believe in him.
Well,
Not
the little
here.
girl clearly
That's-
believed in him.
That's not specifically stated in this movie. There is no reason why it has to go on for this long to either prove or disprove whether he's
It's true.
Santa.
If you're Santa, you should be able to prove that you're Santa pretty easily. Now, I know you're upset, but let me describe to you why my movie is ludicrous.
There's no doubt about whether or not it is.
Right. Oh, no, it is. So, if you've seen Jack Frost, you know that Michael Keaton is a father who gets into a car wreck and dies. Well, surprise, surprise to his son, he comes back as a snowman, at which point he's able to have bonding experiences. His son stops him from being melted. He helps his son fight bullies as a snowman.
He turns into a terrifying snowman.
A terrifying snowman. This is true.
That movie gave me nightmares.
And the whole premise of this is just insane. like I get that it has the good message of, family bonding and stuff like that, but like why do you have to be a snowman to bond with your children? Why is that the rule of this movie?
Well, because he can't be a musician as a snowman, so he's got to do something with his time, I guess.
You're right. He couldn't be a musician. Anyway, I just think the whole premise is ludicrous, and while kind of a fun premise, it was
Kind of.
weird. The whole thing. Your story, Daniel?
So, Barbie and the Nutcracker. Now, the Nutcracker is a famous musical ballet by Tarkovsky. The story is wooden Nutcracker comes to life and has to fight the Rat King, as played by Tim Curry, in order to save something.
Probably.
I guess, probably. Maybe Barbie. No, probably not, because Barbie's a strong heroine that don't need no man. Barbie's probably trying to save the Nutcracker. Clara, Barbie, and her defender, the brave Nutcracker, embark on a marvelous adventure in search of the beautiful Sugar Plum Princess, the only one capable of breaking the spell on the Nutcracker and turning him into a person thing. The music is great. And Tim Curry, as always, is a national treasure.
I think I've heard enough. We ready to vote
Sure.
for who's the worst on story? Who is voting for Barbie and the Nutcracker? Who is voting for Miracle on 34th Street? And who is voting for Jack Frost?
Well, that's a three-way tie. Really? You don't like Miracle on 34th?
I really don't like that.
All right. Let's move on to characters.
Go ahead and start, Jake.
Mine's a snowman. My character is a snowman, and that's stupid.
Olaf was a snowman, and he's funny.
I don't like Olaf.
What point are you trying to prove here?
Yeah. I think Olaf is a stupid character.
Hey, Frozen's a good movie.
Point is, my characters consist of, emotionally unavailable father who's, too busy being a musician, who then turns into 3 large balls of snow with some coal eyes. And those are the characters. Him and his son. Those are the characters.
What's the son's name?
Couldn't tell you.
Cool.
That's the point.
Anyway, not a lot. I think you can understand why I'm not a huge fan of this movie. It's mostly because it's ludicrous.
All right. The characters in Miracle on 34th Street are incredibly boring. 1947 just had no way to use characters other than normal people. These are just normal people. They're just all incredibly bland to me. And I don't know about you guys, maybe it's just me. When I'm watching an old movie or an old TV show especially, everybody sounds the same. Every male actor...
Acting back then was just the worst.
Every male actor sounds exactly like one person. And every female actor sounds exactly like one person.
Well, gee there, little Johnny.
I rest my case. I mean, they're all just... Their personalities are boring. There's nothing that really distinguishes any of them besides the fact that this one guy is Santa.
What you got, dog?
Yep.
So, I will say that while my movie does have Tim Curry, a national treasure, there's no characterization. The purpose of Tarkovsky's music was to be a ballet. It was all supposed to be pantomime. It was supposed to... Taking his hat.
Keep going.
It was supposed to be pantomime. There was no talking. There was no narration. It was just the music. And so the music is great, and the music has character. Nothing else really does. And it's really bad. It's really stiff animation. Again, 2001 low-budget CGI Barbie animation. And I get that, but there's literally only 3 characters. There's Barbie, the Nutcracker, well, I guess 4 characters, the Rat King, and then the girl who's narrating the story about this stuff that's going on that may or may not just be like totally in her head. As I'm talking about this movie, I'm realizing more about the plot. I'm remembering more about it, and it's weird.
Well, I think I know who I'm voting for.
Okay. Start from this end. Who's voting for Jack Frost? Who's voting for Miracle on 34th Street? Who's voting for Nutcracker?
Your characters are boring.
Your characters are boring.
Thank you. That's how you win this competition.
So rewatchability. Matt, Daniel, start us off.
So this movie, for its target demographic of 2-year-olds, is actually decently rewatchable in terms of, like, it's not cringe worthy. Like, there are some legitimately good movies that I hate watching because I cringe during them, and I hate that feeling. And I didn't. That's not something that comes up in Barbie. It is, however, extremely forgettable, and I don't know. There's just not much more to say about it. It's the Nutcracker, but with Barbie and Tim Curry. Anyway, go Matt.
All right. I have never once successfully watched this movie all the way through once. Like, again, like I said, my mom really likes this movie, and we owned the 1955 remaster of the 45 or the 47 movie, or some version of it. I don't know. But I've never been able to go through it all the way. It was just boring to me. And, I mean...
It does start feeling like a boring movie.
I would watch either of these movies 12 times in a row right now, but probably before I'd be willing to watch Miracle on 34th Street once. And that's entirely personal, because I know a lot of people would rather watch Miracle on 34th Street.
Miracle on 34th Street is played on loop, like, from October to Christmas.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I think even I own this movie. I don't know how.
It's around here somewhere. Jake, go ahead.
All right. Mine is a 19-something movie that is...
1998.
1998. Let's just face it. When's the last time you watched Jack Frost? When?
That one time it played on Disney Channel.
Yeah. Bingo. When was the last time you watched Jack Frost?
I honestly don't think I've ever seen it.
See? It's... People don't watch this movie because it was just, like, made and then forgotten. Daniel's clearly watched Barbie far more times than he's watched Jack Frost. And everybody on the planet has watched Miracle on 34th Street more than they've watched Jack Frost. My point.
All right. Who's voting for Barbie and Nutcracker? Who's voting for Miracle on 34th Street? Who's voting for Jack Frost?
Noise.
You had a good argument.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
You're right. I like these ones how like we argue about how bad the movie is, because that way we're not like, no, it's just because I like it.
Well, see, then
It's like, no, it's just because I hate it.
Right. No, screw you. This is bad.
specifically, I hate it.
And let me tell you why you hate it too.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to merits and genre. Matt, I hate to say it, but you lost this one, buddy.
You're right. Miracle on 34th Street has not been remade as many times as I thought. It was remastered and colorized in 1955, and then it was remade in 1994, but was sued by Macy's and was called something else. I don't remember.
This is true. Point is,
they play Miracle on 34th Street every year.
and
on
yeah,
loop.
if you hear the words Christmas movie, it's one of the first ones that pops up.
It is in the National Film Treasury. Like it cannot be touched.
Right.
Like film critics have preserved this movie.
Right.
For time and all eternity,
For time
till
and
the
all.
aliens finally dig up.
And we are
Bingo.
incredibly boring.
Now, since respectively because of that, I have to vote for Daniel's movie on this one, and Daniel really should vote for mine. I'm gonna pen to you on this argument.
Yes. Since I'm disqualified, counter to me.
Right, because you're clearly picking the winner on this. Hear me out. Daniel has chosen a children's Christmas movie. As far as children's Christmas movie goes, Barbie and the Nutcracker is actually one I've heard of. Whereas mine is a comedy Christmas movie, which honestly just falls by the wayside. I mean, think of all the other Christmas comedies that you think of before Jack Frost. It's not even that
Specifically-
funny, by the way. For those of
Specifically
you
from the 90s, like the Santa Claus.
all three of the Santa Clauses.
Which are also bad movies, just not bad enough for this contest.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I like the Santa Claus.
The first
one was good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you've got the Santa Clauses and you've got Christmas Carol and Home Alone. You know.
It's true. What was up with the 90s and a bunch of Christmas movies? Why do I feel like I haven't seen a Christmas movie in like 10 years, but the 90s had all of them?
Anyway, that's my argument.
Go ahead, convince me, Daniel.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this budget was like maybe $12 and then lunch on the one day. They slapped this together with like
At least 11 of those dollars went to Tim Curry.
11 of those dollars went to Tim Curry. It wouldn't surprise me if Tim Curry did this movie just because he had like a kid. I was
Tim
like,
Curry's like, I gotta make me a Christmas movie. You like Barbies, don't you?
I'm not entirely convinced it was just Tim Curry posing the Barbie doll and then taking snapshots of it.
or like I can totally see Tim Curry, like them being like, all right, Tim Curry, so this is for a very serious take on the Nutcracker. Paid him like, and he's like, okay, for art. So he does it, and then they're like, psych, you're a rat.
Well, I mean, the rat is in the original story.
Well, yeah.
It's just, psych, it's a Barbie movie.
It's like it's a Barbie movie. You're right. I'm sorry.
So, how do you feel about the merits of this
I don't
movie
know what
genre?
merits there are to discuss. I don't know, like...
The problem is that you're having to argue in the niche subgenre of just Barbie movies, which,
Yeah.
like Jake said, that is probably one of the best.
I don't know.
And
I
then-
liked Barbie's and the 12 Princesses better.
Shut up.
Just my opinion. Again,
But then there's
three
also
sisters.
then there's also the other niche subgenre of just the Nutcracker movies about the play The Nutcracker.
Well, if I was gonna watch a movie about the play of the Nutcracker, I'd want to watch the Barbie version.
I kind of feel like if it was like 2 o'clock in the morning and you've already seen Monty Python 3 times that day, put this on and you might have a laugh.
All right, I've heard enough. Going with yours, Jake.
Excellent.
Because emotional impact.
Emotional impact.
You know, I might just have to step out again. Because people do get emotionally affected by it. Just because I absolutely did not. I feel the exact opposite emotion of good cheer and goodwill toward men when I watch this movie. That doesn't mean that
I feel
everybody else
only
does.
violence and malice towards my fellow man.
Here's the thing. My film definitely has a lot of family aspects, which, I mean, the dad dies.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the movie is
Can be
about. And
very tragic.
if I'm being honest, the movie might have made me cry when I was younger. So
But was it because the dad died or because of the scary snowman?
It was because the dad died, and it has that sad song. What's that song? I always think of Jack Frost every time I hear it. The one at the end. I can't remember what it is.
Is it Christmas Shoes? Because I freaking hate that song.
That song makes me cry every time.
I hate
that song. I hate that song.
How dare you make me feel my own feelings?
It was like
Screw you for even bringing up that song. I've gotta go. I'm not crying. You're crying.
shut up.
Oh, that stupid song. All right.
Dude, for some reason that song popped into my head like in the middle of summer this year, and I'm just like at work crying.
I know.
What the heck?
It's literally the saddest song on the planet.
And I hate it so much.
Another point.
Let's bring it back.
Bring it back. my point is, this specific movie does get the emotions across that it's trying to go for.
Okay.
Which I'll give that too. So if I'm being honest, I'm probably going to vote for Daniels on this one.
That's true. Put in a good case just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun of it. So, I have nothing else. What else is there to say about this movie?
You have no emotional attachment to the Barbie movie?
There is none at all attached to it. The only reason why I remember it is because my sister brought it up like a week ago or something.
I mean, you got a good point. Really, the original...
I don't know.
The original thing it was pantomime. It didn't have words. It was just for the music. And I feel like that's how Nutcracker is too.
And it's a very popular like musical suite. A lot of people know it, even if you aren't hearing it in your head. And I feel like if they chose this music for like Fantasia or something, it could have been awesome.
It's like they took the legitimate emotional prowess that the music has and slapped Barbie over it. Let's vote for
I'm voting for Daniel. Which means you got one, and I got two. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Frost is the worst Christmas movie, according to
We did it, buddy.
We did it.
Made it so far.
Yep.
And may you never remember this movie after watching this video.
Go watch the horror one.
Now, real quick, before we go out,
We're gonna listen to that song.
I think we should sing it together, just to get in touch with our emotions. What's the name of that song, Daniel?
What, the Christmas Shoes song?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just called Christmas Shoes.
We're listening to Christmas Shoes right now?
It's called The Christmas Shoes.
That's the one that plays at the end of Jack Frost?
No.
Oh.
This is just a really, really sad Christmas song.
You know what? I'm embarrassed to cry on camera. Let's close out the video. Catch us next time where we talk about the best Christmas movies.
All right, you guys ready for this?
Bye.
It's Christmas Eve and shoes are just her size. Could you hurry?